Ismail ibn Kathir was a highly influential Sunni scholar of the Shafi'i school during the Mamluk rule of Syria, an expert on tafsir and faqīh as well as a historian. Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar Al-Asqalani said about him, Ibn Kathir worked on the subject of the Hadith in the texts and chains of narrators. He had a good memory. His books became popular during his lifetime, and people benefited from them after his death. Biography. His full name was Abu al-Fidr Ismail ibn Umar ibn Kathir, with the honorary title of Imad ad-Din. He was born in Mijdal, a village on the outskirts of the city of Basra, to the east of Damascus, Syria, around about R701. He was taught by Ibn Taymiyyah and Al-Dhahabi. Upon completion of his studies he obtained his first official appointment in 1341, when he joined an inquisitorial commission formed to determine certain questions of heresy. He married the daughter of al-Mizzi, one of the foremost Syrian scholars of the period, which gave him access to the scholarly elite. In 1345 he was made preacher at a newly built mosque in Mizar, the hometown of his father-in-law. In 1366, he rose to a professorial position at the Great Mosque of Damascus. In later life, he became blind. He attributes his blindness to working late at night on the Musnad of Ahmad ibn Hanbal in an attempt to rearrange it topically rather than by narrator. He died in February 1373 in Damascus. He was buried next to his teacher Ibn Taymiyyah. Works. Tafsir. Ibn Kathir wrote a famous commentary on the Quran named Tafsir al-Qur'an al-Azim, which linked certain hadith, or sayings of Muhammad, and sayings of the Sahaba to verses of the Quran, in explanation. It is considered to be a summary of the earlier Tafsir by al-Tabari. Tafsir al-Tabari. It is especially popular because it uses the hadith to explain each verse and chapter of the Quran. Egyptian scholar Ahmad Muhammad Shakir edited Ibn Kathir's Tafsir as Umdat Tafsir in 5 volumes published during 1956 to 1958. Fadr al-Qur'an was intended as an annex to the Tafsir. It is a brief textual history of the Quran, its collection and redaction after the death of Muhammad. Hadith al-Jami is a grand collection of hadith texts intended for encyclopedic use. It is an alphabetical listing of the companions of the Prophet and the sayings that each transmitted, thus reconstructing the chain of authority for each hadith. Al-Ba'ith al-Hadith is an abridgment of the Muqaddimah by Ibn al-Salah in hadith terminology. At-Takmil Fima Rifat ath-Thikar wa ad-Du'af wal-Majdal, which Ibn Kathir collected from the books of his two sheikhs al-Mizzi and Adh-Dhahabi, al-Kamal and Misan al-Fdiddl. He added several benefits regarding the subject of al-Jar and at-Ta'dil. Ibn Kathir wrote references for the ahadith of Adillah at-Tanbih from the Shafi'i school of fiqh. History. Ibn Kathir's al-Bidayah wa an-Nihaya, The Beginning and the End, is one of the best-known works of Islamic historiography. While it covers universal history, from the creation of the world until the end of the world and Islamic eschatology, it contained the stories of the prophets and previous nations, the prophet's seerah and Islamic history until his time. He also added a book, Al-Fitan, about the signs of the last hour. Its primary value is in the details of the politics of Ibn Kathir's own day. It has been edited several times, first in Cairo during 1932 to 1939. Ibn Kathir also wrote Al-Sirah al-Nabawiyya, about the life of Muhammad, and Qisas al-Anbiya, a collection of tales on the various prophets of Islam and other Old Testament characters. Tabaqah ash-Shafi'iyya, Jihad. Al-Ittihad fi Talab al-Jihad, written by commission of the Mamluk governor of Damascus, is a defense of armed jihad and rebut against the neighboring Christian powers based on the evidence evidence of the Quran and the Sunnah. Other al-Hadi was son and Fitaf Hadith al-Masanad was son, and which is also known by Jami al-Masanad. In this book, Ibn Kathir collected the narrations of Imams Ahmad bin Hanbal, al-Bazar, Abu Wa'il al-Mawzili, Ibn Abi Shayba, and from the 6 collections of Hadith, the 2 Sahihs. Ibn Kathir divided this book according to areas of fiqh. Tabaqah ash-Shafi'i. Ibn Kathir began an explanation of Sahih al-Bukhari, but he did not finish it. He started writing a large volume on the Ahkam, but finished only up to the Hajj rituals. He also summarized al-Bayhaqi's Al-Madkhal. Many of these books were not printed.